So given what we've just been talking about regarding technology developments, managed account implementation and the Royal Commission's focus on client outcomes, putting the client at the centre of everything that happens, how can technology and managed accounts really address the advisor's best interests duty? There seems to be a misconception in some quarters that the best interests duty might equate to the cheapest alternative. What do we think about actually discharging the duty genuinely?
Yeah, I think that obviously it's not about just fees, the best interest duty, and while that's the number one focus of best interest duty, it's not just about fees. There's also obviously the outcomes to the client and the features, the services they're receiving. But I think as an industry we've been relatively poor at identifying the value that's being delivered and reporting that to the client. So we tend to provide the advice and implement it, but there's not a lot of, and I think this is where technology has to play a role, there's not a lot of going back and saying, here's the advice I gave you and this is what it was worth. And I think we can do that, and I think managed accounts, again, they play an important role here in that we could track and simulate, here you were on this path, we put you in this portfolio and this is your result. Now,
so it's an opportunity to actually quantify the value of advice.
Absolutely, and I think part of the Royal Commission it's been interesting watching the industry trying to defend itself without really having a lot of tools and data to actually assess that. And I think that we've got to really improve that side of it. And I'm not just talking about advisors, I think the entire industry has to become better at explaining what it is, the value we add, what the fee justification is. And look, if the value's not there, we can't justify the fees, that's how it's going to be. But I think we just need to put a lot more effort into explaining how we add value and what that value is actually worth.
Yeah, I think the term that I've tried to use when I work with advisors to describe this is there's no hesitation in my mind that advisors obviously add value. We all know that because we have an industry we do have, but it's the demonstration of that tangible and intangible value to what Jason mentioned. Now, how do you actually demonstrate that to the client? So look, I think from a managed account perspective, one of the things that I think advisors would need to be aware of as they implement this is that the days of having the ROAs, that engagement with their client, as a managed account is implemented, that's gone. So one has to develop a client value proposition that's what I call above the line and not below the line. And as part of that, I think we touched on technology earlier. I think if you look at it from a client's perspective, their latest experience with technology is going to be their expectation of advisors going forward. So a simple example, if you're ordering a pizza and they're telling you that pepperoni is going to be put on now and it's going to be delivered in 2 hours' time, why shouldn't that happen with financial advice when it's a rollover or whatever it might happen? So I think the expectation that clients have of what happens in their day-to-day lives will be exactly what will be expected of financial advice, and that's part of that new value proposition that needs to be delivered by advisors.
I think Jason talked about the notion of transparency. I think in a managed account sense, advisors and consultants and clients are much more aware of what's in that account, whether that be a managed fund or a pool of stocks. We've even found within our managed fund complex, we're having more conversations about the entire portfolio. The days where it was just the top 10, charging 1.5% for long-only equities. I think what we've seen happen is through managed accounts has meant if you've got a managed fund, you've got to be prepared to talk about every stock in that portfolio, because there is typically a consultant, a Morningstar in that relationship as well that want to know that, the advisor and the client want to know it as well. I think it's actually helped drive down our fees.
So do you think the portfolios come under greater scrutiny as a result?
Most definitely.
You've got to be able to fess up to bad calls as well as good calls.
I started in the industry in 1998. I didn't use the word attribution for the first 10 years, whereas in the last 5, I'm having really good conversation about what's your latest attribution report. Can you show me the good and the bad? And I think on the managed portfolio, so our global managed accounts, they can see it every day. We own Tencent. It sells off on the basis of trade war concern. That question's going to be asked to that advisor. I see AB owns Tencent. What does that mean? I see Trump's tweeted X. So transparency's been amazing. It just means more engaging.